welcome back to What Would Daria Wear. I just wanted to check in. It's been a while since I've done a video, but I wanted to talk about my journey to LA. How did I get here? What did I do? How did I prepare? So just the ins and outs. As much as I can give you, I'm going to provide it in this video, so stay tuned. All right, so I think I knew I wanted to move to LA after a trip with my cousin Ginger back when I was probably about 12 or 13. I was a teenager. I remember I came, we went to Rodeo. It was just real cool. We stayed in the W Hotel. Legit. I just knew that the weather was on point and I wanted to move. And so ever since then, it's kind of like been one of those things that was like in the back of my head, like, okay, you know, eventually whenever, that's where I want to be. And what's really crazy is that when I graduated from college, I was still living in Greensboro. I went to the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. I just remember I had been applying for jobs in California for some reason. I don't know. Something was telling me to do it. So I did, got an interview, like a phone interview. That went well. And then they were like, well, we want you to come here and we want to do an in-person interview. Told some of my friends, and all my line sisters and friends were like, Daria, I'll put up the money for you to get there. Like, wanted to buy my ticket, and I just immediately got scared. I was like, this is moving too quickly. Like, my lease hasn't ended at my apartment that was in Greensboro, and I was just like, nah, that's not for me. I'm not ready. And so that was probably like back in 2011, 2012. And so I hadn't revisited it because I wanted to move back to Charlotte to save some money, essentially. And then I ended up getting another apartment because I started a new job in Charlotte. And then something, like I had a friend, my ex, he actually moved before me, but that wasn't my reason for moving. I really had already wanted to move to California on my own. It had been a long time ago, and I don't know, something in me was like, Daria, move out of that apartment that you just got. My lease was about to end, so I moved out of that apartment, moved back in with my mom in Charlotte, started saving money, just anything that you would consider rent or bills. I was just saving it up. And I still didn't have an answer or a goal of when I wanted to move. I knew I didn't want to spend another winter on the East Coast, but that was all I had. So, let's see. I started to fast and pray like a crazy person. Mind you, I have a relationship with God, but I was just like, I don't know what you want me to do, God. So I'm going to be fasting. I'm going to pray about this, and whatever you think I should do is what I'm going to do. Had been doing that for legit a month. Fasting, praying. All of a sudden, sitting at my desk one day at work, and I hear this voice tell me, Daria, quit your job. I'm like, hold up. Like, I'm thinking it's my conscience or I'm just, playing with myself. And I'm thinking like, Daria, you're psyching yourself out. I'm like, God, if this is you trying to tell me to quit my job, I need another sign. Like, you got to send me something else, bro. Because that wasn't enough for me to just like, it just freaked me out. It did. Because I literally went home and I was like, Mom, God told me to quit my job today. But I asked him for another sign. So we gonna table it and we'll come back and see what else I get. All right. So I think it was a week or a couple days go by, and I get an email. So I have Daria's Closet, which is through Shopify. So I get emails from them about different promotions and different ways to catapult your online shop or whatever. So I get an email, and the subject line says, quit your job. And within the email, it has an attachment with a resignation letter in it. And I'm telling you, this was from Shopify, just normal. If you're an entrepreneur, you have a shop, it's just a random email that they're sending out. So, but to me, that was God sending me that last sign that I needed to start making moves. I had already been like looking at apartments just to kind of get a gauge of how much it may cost me for rent, and I already knew ahead of time that it would cost like $1,000 for me to ship my car, because living in LA, you need a vehicle. Unless you have an Uber budget or a Lyft budget, you know that you're gonna have to spend that type of money. You need a vehicle in LA if you're gonna be moving like I move, wanting to go wherever you want to go without having to ask questions and hit the Lyft and hit the Uber. You need a vehicle. So off top, I knew I needed to save up $1,000 just to get my car here from North Carolina, and that was the first set of money that I actually saved up. And so, anyways, got that sign. I was like, oh man, all right, it's really time to tell my mom and my grandma and everybody close to me, like, this is what happened to me and this is what's going on. So I sat my mom and my grandma down and my brother, and I was like, all right, God told me to move. He's telling me to quit my job, and he sent me the resignation letter. So I'm just gonna do this thing. Like, I started literally putting things into place. Not only was I already saving money, but I was like, all right, now I have to really get on it as far as like when the time period. And so I knew I wanted to do it like around my birthday, like in August. And at that point I think it was May. It was April, May is when I had figured out that I wanted to, well, when all of this kind of transpired, when God sent me my signs. And so, yeah, once that happened, I was like, all right, I need to call out of work one day. I had already been doing a lot of research on some apartments that I said I liked, just generally off of seeing pictures online, and woo, can't depend on that. I will say that. So I went, called out of work, came to California for a day, literally flew in 8 o'clock and got here at 8 o'clock, looked at all 5 of those apartments, rented a Turo car. Also, if you ever want to rent a car and it not be like connected to all those other rental car places, it's literally just people who have extra cars and they just want to rent them out for $20, $30 or whatever. Turo.com, Turo.com. Rented me a Turo car, went and looked at all 5 of the apartments that I liked. Hated them all. I'm talking about, I'm not used to studios. I'm used to, being from North Carolina, you can get a lot of space for just a little bit of money. I was paying $800 for a brand new apartment that it was almost 700 square feet. So I'm not used to having a studio where you turn around, you're in your kitchen, turn around, you're in your closet. Like, that's not what I wanted at all. So I hated all 5 apartments, flew back that same day, back home to North Carolina. And I was like, what the heck am I about to do? Like, at this point, I'm putting my notice in the next week, saying like, I plan on moving. So I'm freaking out, but I'm like, all right, Daria, just calm down. Don't freak out. So that next week, after me hating all of those apartments, I went to work to go put in my 2 weeks, it was 2 weeks or a month. I was just telling them when I was leaving by August. And so, at this point, I'm actually working towards being an HR manager. So I'm about to be promoted in a month, really, because in August I was going to be promoted to HR manager. And I'm like, it's so crazy because sometimes we go for what we're comfortable with. Like, that could have easily been like some more money, yes, and I would be home with friends and family. Like, that would be the comfortable move. But I was sick of being comfortable. I got to a point where I was like, Daria, you need to be in a place where you know no one, you don't know anyone, and then you're experiencing different things. You're experiencing different restaurants. You're going to different parts of California that you've never been to. You're just rubbing elbows with different people. And so that was the biggest part for me, in addition to the perfect weather that California has. Like, I'm so sick of winters and putting on coats and boots, and like, I'm just over it. I want to be I wanted to be close to beaches and all that stuff and have majority really nice weather. So that was the biggest part for me. And I, went to put my notice in. They're like, well, man, we really wanted to, like, I had been training and everything like that. And so they're like, man, we really hate to lose you, but why don't you just, continue to work for us? Cause they had a Culver City office, which is in Los Angeles. They're like, well, why don't you just transfer there and then help us out there until you find a job? And I'm like, God, you showing out now. Because you told me to quit my job. I walk in there to quit my job, and now they talking about, well, you can work for us until you find another job. Like, tell me what... Isn't he crafty? Isn't he just has the craziest sense of humor. And so all of that to have me going there and I'm still going to have a job, because I had been applying and nothing was really panning out for me. And I'm like, okay, I wanted to move even though I was saving money, I wanted to move and have a job. Like, that was the initial thing. And I know a lot of people come with that mindset, like, I want to move, but I want to have something else set up. So I'm not like worrying about not having money. But when he sent me that sign, he was like, he literally had it together for me. And I was freaking out. I won't lie. I did not come here thinking I had it made at all, because yes, I was transferring my job, but they weren't giving me more money to match what someone in California makes. I'm still making North Carolina salary, which you can get by with a North Carolina salary in North Carolina, but you can't do that here. And so I'm telling you. So after they say, oh yeah, you can transfer your job, cool, I do that. But also in the midst of that, I was able to find an apartment that I loved. It's brand new. Nobody else has lived in this apartment. It was just being finished up as far as like opening for people to occupy the building, but they kept not being able, they didn't have the permits for people to actually live in it. So I'm waiting. My original move-in date was August the 1st. Every week it was something new. No, we still haven't gotten the permits for the elevator. No, we haven't got, and I'm like, luckily my cousin's sister-in-law lives in Laguna, and she was so open and so hospitable and let me stay with her. So I was staying in Laguna because I moved August the 8th. So I stayed with her for like a month, and I was working from home because Laguna and Culver City are 2-3 hours away from each other, depending on it wasn't happening. So luckily my job was very, very flexible. They let me work from home for like a month. And then I moved into my apartment on September the 1st, literally September the 1st. And when I tell you, I cried my butt off this last summer. Like, I was stressed out. I lost so much weight. I was stressed. Like, okay, yes, I have someone to stay with, but guess what? I'm getting paid this amount, and I don't know how that's going to work for when I do move into this apartment. So it was like the timing of it was on God's time because he knew it was going down. But for me, I'm like, I'm sick of living out of this suitcase. Like, I want to be in my own space. Like, I have all the stuff that I want to do to my apartment. Like, I just had my own plans, and God just laughed at me. And then he made it happen how it was supposed to happen. And so, transferred my job, working from home, living with my cousin, finally moved into my place, had transferred my car as well, obviously. So I had that. But I think, if anything, the preparation of it all is to, number one, find out how much it would be to transfer your car from where you live to California. Because if you do have a vehicle that you wouldn't drive cross country, then you need to figure that out first, because you're going to need a vehicle. I'm just going to be straight up about it, unless you plan on buying one when you get here, which, I mean, if you got it like that, then cool. But find out how much it is to transfer your car. 2, start looking at apartments, looking at areas that you think, like, just checking out the overall area. Like, if you want to live in Los Angeles, but you want to live on the outskirts of it, Burbank, Studio City, Hollywood, North Hollywood, Sherman Oaks, Valley Village. There's so many different like cities outside of Los Angeles, but they're very close. Like, so I live in North Hollywood, so I can get to Hollywood or Los Angeles within 10 minutes. So it's not, and you know, that's with light traffic. It takes me about, I work in Culver City, and it takes me about an hour to get to work with traffic. Without it, probably 30 minutes. So I mean, usually I can get to any point from my apartment within 30, 45 minutes. Not bad. But yes, definitely start looking in different, like looking at apartments just so you can see the range. Like, obviously you may be able to find an apartment for $800. That was my goal. Like, I wanted to find an apartment that was like close to what I was paying in North Carolina. No, because when you come here, it's not the same as many other states. Like, I've never lived in New York, New York. I'm from Buffalo, New York, but I've never lived in New York, New York, so I don't know how it is there. All I know is North Carolina. I know Charlotte. I know how Greensboro was. When I was in college, I paid $300 for rent. $300. And I mean, mind you, it was split up with my roommate, but it's like we paid $600 total. So $300. Then I moved to Charlotte, get my own place, and I was paying $800 for rent, which even that was like, ooh, I ain't trying to, you know, but I had the money, so it was cool, and I have brand new everything. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm kind of spoiled coming over here, and I'm like, they don't have to give you a refrigerator in some apartments. That's not something that they have to have. So you're either renting a fridge or buying a fridge, which I actually had to buy a fridge. They don't have to guarantee you a parking spot. So those are the things that I had to kind of pay for or factor in when I was looking for apartments. So I wanted my own parking spot. Had to have it. Like, I being a female, I can't park my car far and then have to walk at night. Or if I'm grocery shopping, like, who wants to do that? So I had to have a parking spot. I wanted to have a washer and dryer, which I have. Had to buy my fridge, like I said, and then like I wanted a 1 bedroom because I wanted to be able to shut my door. So when I do have friends over that come to visit, then you know there's a separation. It's not like a back-to-back thing like we have. You know, I don't know. I like to have privacy. So I have a pretty good amount of space in my apartment, but coming from 800, I was like, all right, Daria, you need to up that. It went up to like $1,200. Started looking at the $1,200 apartments, and I would see the $1,200 apartments, look at the pictures. I'm like, all right, not bad. I can do it. Had friends and people that were trying to assist me that I kind of knew or was getting to know that lived here, had them go check out the places, and they don't look like anything. They don't look like the pictures. So it's tough to say like, oh, you could do all your research on the computer and then move. Like, it's definitely not that way. I will say that you kind of want to, before you put your name on any dotted line, you need to be able to walk through a place and see it for yourself, and also do research on reviews, because people will write when they are upset. Yes, they'll write some stuff, but they'll also be real about it. And I've seen too many people say roaches, rats, roaches. I ain't got time. I'm not doing it. So yeah, I wasn't fooling with any kind of infestation. So that's why I opted to up my budget for an apartment, and I pay $1,600. So that's double what I was paying in North Carolina. But to me, it was worth it because I'm getting all of the things that I want. I got my washer and dryer. I had to buy a fridge. Cool, we're good, whatever. I'm just gonna be, any apartment that I look for now it doesn't have to have a fridge, because now I'm trucking this thing around because it's my freaking fridge. Never have I ever thought I was gonna have to buy a refrigerator. Anyways, so yeah, got a parking spot. I don't have like a fitness center that most apartments have, but that's okay. I have a gym, I have a gym membership. but I just paid for the luxuries that I wanted to feel secure in my place. So if you're okay with maybe not having a washer and dryer, or like, what else could you not have? I mean, you could have a studio instead of a 1 bedroom. Like, if you're okay with not having certain things, then you could definitely bring down your budget as far as like how much you want to pay for an apartment. But like, because I wanted to feel secure and wanted this place to feel like home for me, my preference is I had to up my budget. So that's probably the best thing. Do your research, but also set out some time to actually travel here and check out some places. Or if you have friends or family or anybody that's open to checking places for you, that would be a good resource. But I would never put your name on a dollar unless you see it for sure. I mean, I went ahead and signed my lease and stuff, and I hadn't even seen the place yet, but I knew that it was built in 2018 and that 2017, and that nobody had ever lived in it. So it wasn't like I was moving into something that had been renovated. Renovated places you have to be very careful with because they could have some issues. I don't know. Not all, but some. But I just knew that the fact that this was a brand new building, I wasn't going to have any issues. Now, I hate my neighbors. They walk too hard. So that's why I'm going to be moving out of here. God willing, I'll be moving into a top apartment in another brand new building. But, definitely do your research. Hit those reviews. See, talk to the people that are renting out the actual apartments. Ask all the questions that you need. Let's see. So one of the questions that you guys asked me was, do I live in a studio or a regular apartment? I don't have a roommate. I am living alone, and I have a 1 bedroom. And I've had roommates. The last time I had a roommate was probably 2012, 2013. Love my roommate. My roommate is my friend, my very good girlfriend, Kiera, and love her to death. But I could never see myself rooming with anyone or having a room. I can't see myself having a roommate ever because I lived by myself after having a roommate. And I don't know. I liked how it felt, like being able to just, not wash the dishes if I don't have to. Or like, my mess is my mess. I'm not worried about, roommate messes and stuff. Like, I don't know. And it's just about having that independence. Like, yeah, the bills are all on me, but I like having my own space. So I have no roommates. Don't plan on ever getting a roommate. But that option is still out there for if you want. Because, I've seen like rooms for rent and stuff like that. So if you're open to that type of stuff, there are tons of places that you could probably stay in a room for rent, and you may have your own bathroom. I don't know, but 2 good places to use is or apps or whatever websites is Trulia.com, Trulia.com, and then Hotpads, Hotpads, and they both have apps. So definitely try that out. Now, in the midst of this move, I was going through some different things, like with relationships, and then it was just a really tough time to move. I'll just say that things were going great for me in North Carolina. I was building up my brand, and my clientele was booming, and folks were even asking me, Daria, why are you moving? Like, everything's going good for you here. Why are you moving? I'm like, y'all, I just need change, and I'm trying to take my business and brand to a whole nother level. And so in order for me to do that, I needed to move so I can be around different people and experience different things, and obviously be in the industry, the fashion industry. Like, everything's, not every single thing, but things are over here that I can dibble and dabble in. And so I'm like, that I needed to open that up to myself. Like, I needed to be open to that. And so I feel like once I kind of put it on paper and I talked to God about it, and he's like, all right, it's time. Then I just had to make that move. And yes, it was so freaking scary. To this day, I don't even know how I made it where I am right now. And I'm like, I'm not even where I'm not obviously, oh yeah, I'm not like right where I want to be, but I'm where I'm supposed to be, if that makes sense. Like, I have so much more work to do. I'm just now getting like adjusted to everything, just having to pay 10 cents for bags when you go grocery shopping or anywhere, and just parking tickets, got 2 of those and had to spend $323, like, and this off some metered stuff. Like, I'm just now getting adjusted to how living in California is, and I'm just happy that I'm here. Like, I think moving to California was the best decision that I've ever made in my life, aside from becoming a Delta. But it was the right move for me, and I feel like you definitely need to talk to God about it. See when is the right time to make the move, and where to make the right move. Because you don't want to just like drastically do it, like, and not be ready in a sense. And I'm not saying like, oh, have all your money lined up, oh, have your job lined, because it may not work that way. It may go a different way. But I'm just saying, like, really sitting down, making sure this is the right move for you, and if God is ready for you to move. Let's see. Struggles finding a place, making decisions. So yeah, just to piggyback off that question, like, definitely had some struggles, because like I said, not every place looks like the pictures. So do your research. And then of course, I said I had to take off work in order to go and look at, and I made sure I lined them up. Like, oh, I'm coming on Monday. Can I come here at 9? Then I call the next place. Can I come here at 10:30? Or, I literally mapped it out. I saw, oh, this place is like 10 minutes from here. All right, cool. Like, I made sure I was able to knock all these places out within the time before my flight was going to leave for me to get back to North Carolina. So you definitely want to set aside some time to come here and check the places out for yourself, just to get an idea. Because it is tough. Like, even now that I'm looking for a new apartment, I am having a tough time trying to, like, because I run around and stuff on the weekends. So, like, just trying to set up stuff to look at new places now, it's like I can only do it on the weekends. Or I'll probably, once it starts getting close to when my lease is going to end, I'm going to have to take off time from work just to go and actually check places out, because sometimes they're, only open on the weekdays. Some people don't, which it sucks, because you would think they would be open on the weekends, but it just depends on the complex. These places are so different. They have their own rules. How have you dealt with moving across the country from family and friends where I didn't know anyone? Tough as hell. Like, now I feel like I have a solid group of people who I've not even attached myself to, but just like this move really forced me to network and get to know different people, and not to say like just to get anything from them at all, because I don't need anything from anyone, but it's like I don't have friends here. I have a cousin, like I said, she's like my mom's age, so I had a very few friends that lived here. So I definitely wanted to build a network here where, if anything were to happen, I could call someone. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is tough to have your mom thousands of miles away, or your brother, or your like, just the folks that you would hit up and they could come if you locked your keys in the car. It's tough. I will say it is still tough to this day, because locking my keys in the car ain't something I want to do. Knock on wood. Hello. I'm just saying, like, it's tough, but I'm getting through it. Like, you gotta step out of your comfort zone. I'm not trying to be comfortable. Like, I want to be uncomfortable, but like, getting to know myself all over again, I feel like I'm doing. Like, it's like I've had to make decisions that were tough, but I've grown from it, and that's what I like to see. I want to have growth in my life. Like, I want to be like, damn, Daria, it's been a year, and guess what you did? You moved all the way across the country, and this is what happened from that. Like, this is how you grew. So, definitely tough, but I'm each and every day. Anytime I do anything on the weekends, like I try and go to events, so you guys probably see me a lot, like out and about with friends and going to museums and stuff like that. Like me and my friend Morgan, we met like some really cool people just at brunch. We're just out having brunch and we meet people, or we're out at museums and we talk to folks, and just because everybody's everybody in Cali's so free and real chill. Free and chill does not mean that they're nice. I'm not saying that everybody's not nice. I'm just saying, like, you can't come into that, especially me being a Southern belle. Like, that was a culture shock for me. I'm like, hey, or just smiling at people and they're not smiling back. I'm like, okay, what's up with that? Like, what's up? I'm just speaking. I don't want nothing from you, But there are some really nice people out here, really, that have good intentions, and so you just have to have discernment and and let it happen. Just experience different things, meet different people, and not go into it wanting something, but just seeing how what like walks of life people are coming from. You know what I'm saying? So, I deal with it day by day. I'll just say that. That's how I've dealt with it. That's kind of similar to making friends and building a solid support system. My good girlfriend, Maine, her little sister moved out here her younger sister moved out here the same month. Well, really we moved out here the same week. And so we thug it out, like we have been each other's support system. Like we hang out almost every weekend. And then of course I have my other friends. And so it's like, I feel like I have a good tribe of people that I can hit up if I ever feel like I have my solid people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not more than what I would have done if I lived in Charlotte. I don't know. I can't really explain it. Like, you have your people and of course, you build with other folks and get to know other people. But you know who you can call if you're on the side of the road. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's tough at first, but you'll get there. It's just all about being open, but also not, I can't explain it. Just be open to making new relationships and friendships with people, but not being naive, if that makes sense. Don't be naive. Just understand, like, not everybody has your best interests, but you gotta have these. You need to be able to catch people's vibes. I've always been one of those type of people. Okay, I think that I answered everybody's questions. So we're on month 9. I'm on month 9 of living in California, and I had to say, again, it was probably the best decision that I've ever made. I love it here. I love my place, minus my loud walking neighbors. But things are going well. Like, overflow of opportunity, overflow of blessings is what I've been praying for since this move happened. Like, I wanted to the top reason for me moving here was to catapult my business and my brand, to help me grow as a person, the weather, and just engulf myself in something different. So it gets tough, yes, because I can't just roll up on my mom and be like, hey, Mom, or just sit with her and talk with her. Of course, she could just fly here if she wanted to, but it's tough not having your immediate family not that close to you. They're thousands of miles away, and even my brother, he just moved to Philadelphia. I'm like, dog, but now everybody's like spread out. But it's worth it in the end. My friends can come and visit me and stay with me, and we can tear up this whole town, you know? So it's all worth it for me. But yeah, definitely if you're an entrepreneur or someone in the fashion industry or the entertainment industry, is definitely a good place to move. I mean, there's tons of jobs out here, I would say, but it's just all about finding the right fit for you. Because I'm in actually the human resources industry. I work for a property management company here. And I mean, how many months did it take? I got my job in November. So August, September, October, November. It took me 4 months to get a job. Yeah, it took me 4 months to get a job. So, I mean, I think that's just normal for any state that you live in. It's going to take a minute to find the right fit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just didn't want to take anything off the street, you know, just because it was short term or long term or whatever. I wanted it to be something that was going to work for my move and for my personality and things like that. So it all kind of worked out. But I think it's the same for any other state that you move in, or probably the state that you already currently live in. Like, it takes a minute to find a job sometimes. But there are tons of jobs around. Apartments, do your research. Friends and family, or just friends, meeting new people. It can be a challenge, only because you don't want to just befriend just a whole bunch of people just to have friends. You definitely want to, meet people, get to know them, and if you feel like y'all can be friends, then cool. It's the same thing. It's just that now you know less people in a place. Like, that's the only thing I could really say about that. I could always do a part 2 to this. This is probably pretty freaking long. So if you have any questions, definitely leave them in the comment box, and I'll answer them. But those 4 things were the only questions that I got from you guys on Instagram. So I hope this helps anyone that is thinking about moving. But yeah, I thank you guys for listening. If you actually watched the whole video, I thank you. And for those that support me and actually read my blog posts and listen to me rant sometimes on Insta, I thank you so much for your love and support. It really means a lot. And for those who were praying for me when I was going through my stuff, I thank you for that too. But I will check with you guys soon.